When the next console comes out, such as the PS2, you don't see everyone immediately just dropping ship and moving on to the next console already. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I mean, it's going to cost you hundreds of dollars for the new console, and people definitely want to wait to see how it turns out. So they continue to play games on their current system, which is the PS1 for this situation. There were companies like Natsume still pumping games out in the early 2000s, stuff like Block Kids here, a puzzle game, Skydiving Extreme, as well as Burst Trick Wakeboarding. You see these all the time at the game store. And you got games like Gekioh Shooting King here that came out in early 2002. Gekioh Shooting King is actually known as Shienryu in Japan. It's an arcade game that came out in 1997, and it got ported to the Sega Saturn that same year, but for some reason the PS1 was in 2002. This is just like how Soul Divide ended up. It came out in 2002 as well, and it was an arcade game before. Of course, I played this game for quite a while, and definitely want to talk about what this game has to offer if it's worth your time to check out and play. Sit back, relax, make you a coffee, get you a Diet Coke. Let's talk about Gekioh Shooting King for the original PlayStation. Gekioh Shooting King came out in 2002 in North America and PAL regions for the PS1. It was developed by Warashi Inc. and published by Natsume. As mentioned, this is actually an arcade game from '97 in Japan, and it was on the Sega Saturn, but only in Japan as well. Warashi is not known for much. They made Mahjong games, as well as Trigger Heart Exelica, this shoot 'em up in 2007, and it was on the frickin' Dreamcast in 2007? That's pretty wild. This game does have a little bit of a plot to it, nothing crazy, but it takes place in the future, and Earth, they're trying to find other planets to colonize. One of the caravans searching for new planets actually got lost, and it turns out many years later, they were abducted by the Shienryu, an alien fleet force. And they're the bad guys in this game you gotta face. And they are crazy. There's a lot of machines, alien-like creatures in this game you'll face. The goal is simple. This new planet that got founded, and all the aliens are trying to take over, you just gotta stop them and blow them up. This game is a vertical shooter, as you can already tell. The controls, D-pad will move you, square X is your regular shot, triangle circle is your special shot. You can hit select to have extra continues if you want, and start pauses the game. As you're flying around, you gotta avoid these lines of fire, these blankets of pulse bombs, and then beat these sub-bosses and bosses down, and you move on to the next stage. You play as a red ship unless you have a second player involved, and yeah, you can play co-ops, that's pretty cool. There's a total of 8 stages, and they all differ a little from each other in terms of environment and stuff. Your usual suspects for your power-ups here, you got your Vulcan, which is the standard shot, and this is the one I like the most. You got your Lightning, which is pretty cool, it's good spread damage. And then you've got your missiles. These are pretty strong, but the range is not as good as the others. You do power them up with the little peas that are flying around, and when you grab them, you'll keep on upgrading your weapon. You can also increase your speed too by seeing the little blue S's, and they'll make you fly faster. You'll see these candle-like things all the time from killing enemies, and those are just points basically. You can get 1-ups, as well as the special bombs. They'll actually add a bomb. Normally you start with 3. And there's purple peas, and these give an extra shot to your guys so you can take another hit. As mentioned earlier, there's 8 stages that you play through in this game. Each one has different environments you go through, like forests, for example, with machines everywhere. Or this water level, which I really like, with all these boats and shooting stuff at you. And you even fly through space towards the end of the game. For this game, it definitely has some cool environments you fly through. In this one, you've got one-hit deaths, so if you die, you end up going back to your last checkpoint. However, if you're on a boss, you actually respawn right then and there. If you do get a game over and you don't have any credits left, you do have to start the whole game again. But it kind of goes to mention you can press select button at any time and you'll add credits. So you can really just keep playing the game if you want to. I know it's kind of cheating, but it is a good way to experience this whole game to see what you got to go against. The different game modes you have, you've got Gekki mode, easy mode, and hard mode. Gekki mode is closer to the arcade original, even though it's a little watered down in some areas like visuals and sound. Easy mode is good for beginners. It's not easy or anything, but it's the easiest version of this game, so a good way to learn how to play it, and then you can go for the harder difficulties. There's all kinds of machines and aliens in this game you're blowing up. The bosses in this game are really sick though. They're these huge just mecha things, and you'll find this one guy, he kind of looks like the cover of the game, and at the end of the game he just gets vaporized by the big boss, so really cool and menacing enemies here. The final boss here is definitely a final boss. He is freaking hard. he just whoops your ass every time if he hits you with all these little pulse bombs. And he'll zoom out for a sec on his big charge attack he does, shooting these little pulse bombs at you, and it's so hard to see, they're tiny, so you gotta have some x-ray vision for that part. However, I did beat him, so if I can beat him, I know you definitely can. That's it for the game, really, but there is bonus content here worth mentioning. You've got about 6 different little bonus modes here you can do. You've got this comical mode, which makes everything laughing as you're playing it. You've got stingy mode, where it makes it to where you just can't lose a life, basically. And you've got no mercy hard mode. This mode's for the hardcore shoot 'em up fans. There's slow mode that makes everything very slow as you're playing. Ancient mode, which just makes the game black and white. The best one here, this is retro mode, and it's like playing a micro version of this game. Pretty cool. It looks like it's played on a Pocket Station from the way it looks. And fortunately though, the Pocket Station doesn't work with this game though. Nothing crazy here, but still pretty cool to include this stuff here for a very simple kind of game. I appreciate it when the developer does stuff like that. Gekioh Shooting King is definitely a fun shooter here. It's got some really fun gameplay, some good power-ups you get, it's got some good music in the background, and it's just got fun challenge. The fact that you can do co-op in this game is always a nice touch to have, and you can make this game as easy or as hard as you want to, with the infinite continues or none. This game has some setbacks though. I will say I don't really care for the banners on the screen, they just kind of use the title screen. That's kind of a half-assed thing to do there. This game looks a little bit better on the arcade, even the Saturn version with the visuals and stuff. It didn't really bother me here, but if you are a fan of shoot 'em ups, you are going to kind of notice just a little bit here. The original game also loops after beating it, and the PS1 version here, it does not, unfortunately. It just kind of says game over, goes back to the title screen. Speaking factually, the best version of this game is definitely the arcade Saturn version, but the PS1 version is perfectly fine, to be honest with you. I had a good time playing this, so if you want to just check this game out alone on this system, then yeah, it's definitely worth your time to check out. The game is also pretty affordable in North America, but in PAL regions, I'm sorry guys, it is freaking criminally expensive. It is like a $300 game there, which is insane to me, because it's only 40 bucks here complete, but get it loose, it's only $20. So for North America, not too bad of a purchase, but for PAL regions, well, that's your choice on if you want to buy it or not, or go buy other ways to play this game. That's all I've got to say about Gekioh Shooting King. It was a good time and a fun shoot 'em up. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you got anything to say about this game, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your opinions on what you think about Gekioh Shooting King, Shienryu, or what's the weather like in your town today. As always, thanks for watching. Y'all take it easy.